My name is Magnus. I'm a man of the countryside, and in this series I share my adventures and knowledge about everything wild and rural. I have a background as an agricultural and forestry mechanic, and I love old quirky machines. Join me on small journeys into different habitats, exploring wild places, and see the beauty that surrounds us. In this first episode, I want to take you back to my roots, where it all began, in the countryside in southeast Norway. Here I spent most of my childhood sitting along the edges of grain fields, watching tractors and combine harvesters. It was kind of all I did back then, and to be honest, I still do. I usually sat there dreaming about machines I wanted when I grew up. But at the same time I took in all beautiful scents and smells, like diesel exhaust mixed with fresh tilled soil. But there was one very special machine I wanted more than anything else. A 1965 John Deere 110 garden tractor. This simple green machine, with 4 yellow wheels and a yellow stripe down the hood, was my first American dream. I loved everything American, especially when it came to tractors. Classic tractors. But living in Norway, far away from any American prairie farms, meant that finding a tractor like this was an next to an impossible task. And I was only 11, and I had no American contacts or money. But fate was with me. So, 15 years later, I finally found one for sale nearby, in Denmark. And I had to buy it. The reason behind my love for this little American tractor had a much more deeper meaning. When I was at school, my classmates had pictures of supercars and pop stars on their bedroom walls, and I thought I was a bit strange for having pictures of this instead. But I didn't think I was, because this little tractor was a legend and a hero. In 1994, Alvin Straight, a retired farmer from Iowa, once drove 240 miles for 6 weeks on a tractor like this, all the way to Wisconsin. And the reason behind this trip was to get to his brother Henry, that lived in Wisconsin. A big fight between the brothers had ended up with them not speaking to each other in 10 long years. But when Alvin gets the news that his brother Henry just had a severe stroke, he decides to finally swallow his pride, to get to his dying brother, to reconcile and to make amends before it's too late. Alvin, as a stubborn and independent man, did no longer have a driver's license due to his very poor eyesight, and taking the bus was completely out of the question. This was something he had to do by himself to prove the point to his brother. So, his only solution was to take his John Deere riding mower. This incredible story was turned into a film by David Lynch in 1999 called The Straight Story, and it was this movie that hit my heart so long ago. I was just 11 years old, but yet I could see Alvin in myself, a stubborn man, but a patient man, and the cause of his trip made so much sense to me. I didn't have a strange brother living far away. My brother lived in the same house as me, and we were friends most of the time. But yet, driving across Midwestern American states to reconcile with a loved one, it did hit a nerve with me. Alvin became my hero because I could see myself in him. It was the calmness, the beauty of the nature, and Alvin's faith, knowing that he will get there in the end, no matter how long it takes or how rough the road is. I guess today's mainstream movie business will call this movie extremely boring and tedious, because not much really happens in the film, besides Alvin, played by Richard Farnsworth, driving this little tractor at 5 miles per hour along the Midwestern roads. But for me, it simply was the American dream, the true America, how USA always had been in my mind as a kid. A country of freedom and faith. This simple movie didn't need any action scenes, because at 5 miles per hour, everything was just at the perfect pace. It was an eulogy to slowness. This story was a great example of letting your heart lead the way. An honest and pure story. Something the world needs more of these days. The movie stuck with me as I grew older, and ever since that day, I knew I wanted to do something similar like Alvin did. Take a long trip on a John Deere 110. It seemed so cool and so peaceful. So today, it's gonna be the day that I do it. Just on a little smaller scale than what Alvin did. I meet up with my dog Lakota where the forest begins. So, let's jump off the tractor and continue on foot. And see if we can find a nice place for our lunch. I spot some fresh alpine strawberries along the road, and these sweet berries is an absolute treat to eat at this time of year. I also spot something that stands out along the road. A plant that you can trace all the way back to Viking Age. This plant with these bubbly flower heads that almost looks like champagne bubbles are called meadowsweet. And besides being an ancient medicine plant with healing properties, it was also used by the Vikings to make beer, or mead as they called it. But unfortunately, I do not know how to make that, so I will leave it here today.
Good. I will check with.
Okay, let's go. We continue on and find a nice place for a quick lunch in the forest. Lazy days in the woods, a cup of coffee and a bite to eat. And just be. What an underrated thing to do. I can't help but think about Alvin's long trip on this simple lawnmower. And the speed is so slow. It's actually faster to walk. Well, my little trip is nothing near what Alvin set out to do. But I enjoy it. Although I've just been driving for 15 minutes, I will still call it a road trip. And as fall is coming closer, I get ready for some old school plowing. And this 1958 Massey Ferguson 35 is up for the job, and I can't wait to get it started. Since I was a kid, all machinery always caught my eye. I guess it was the simple mechanics of them, combined with the great timeless styling. But as I grew older, I understood it was more than just that. It was the soul of the machine. Built by hand, by real men, in a time where quality was more important than quantity. And I feel that is a thing of the past today. This little field is going to be my garden for the next year. So in springtime, I will plant and sow different vegetables here, which I really look forward to, and I hope we can get things growing. It's so easy to go to the store and buy food, but to be able to grow it yourself, it's an important skill to know. In this day and age, where everything is supposed to go so fast, in a society where we have seemed to forgotten our ancient connection to the land, I see myself extremely privileged to have this so close to me and have it as my way of living. This is my life, wandering about where I want, when I want. It's simply beautiful, and you will see more of this.